Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Gladis lestari, and then my student number is 216121001. So here I would like to explain about 5 points related to our material in learning language classroom. So here, before start explaining, I would like to tell you the first point is evaluation from group 1. So the objective evaluation related to everything educational activities or process that are center of attention or observation. So procedure of evaluation, the first one is according to Muhtar, there's a planning, data collection, and also data verification, data analysis, and data interpretation. So we are, as a teacher, we must to know what is the planning. Planning here means that we need to plan everything related to classroom materials before we start our class. As a teacher, we need to start having material first, how to manage class. That's one of example of a planning. And then data collection, we need to collect anything related to our materials. It can be like it can be like absence or probably a data list of student, and also data verification. We need to verify materials. Is it true? Is it good? Where is the sumber? So it's something like, and then data analysis. It's almost same as data verification and analysis. We gotta analysis our materials. We gotta analysis probably the characteristic of the students, and data interpretation. The next material is from group 2. It's about authentic assessment. Okay, I'm gonna explain based on my own word. Authentic assessment is something like assessment that relate to our real life situation. We need to know the relationship between what we learn from school, what we get from school, from course, and then we gotta practice it into our life situation. It's something like we need to knows how to solve the problem in our life situation. For example, I'm gonna give you some example related to authentic assessment, like this. When we wanted to get what is that? When we wanted to resolve mathematical problems, it can be it can be related to our real life situation. Of course, we are as a student, we always learn mathematics, so we gotta know what is the purpose of learning this mathematics. So we could practice it. For some people who actually like mathematics, it can be one of the best part of their life because they want to be a mathematician. So they will replace what they get. They will take what they get from school and then practice it into their real life situation. And also it can be and also another example is doing science experiments. Before we doing science experiment, we gotta know what kind of experiment actually, and then step by step how to conduct experiment. So we all learn all of these things from schools and then practice it in experiments, a science experiment field, right? So it's one of the example. The last example is reading and interpreting literacy pieces. I know that some people really like literacy pieces, really like art. So before we practice it into our real life situation, we gotta learn what is actually literacy pieces and how to read, how to interpret literacy pieces, how to apply it into real life situation. That's actually one of the example in authentic assessment. So authentic assessment means that everything in a school that we get from school lessons and materials in school, we need to apply it into a unique real life context situations. Because John Muller said, John Muller's researcher described that it is a form of assessment in which students are asked to apply it or practice their ability, their knowledge, what they get from school, from course, into their real life situation. So yeah. Okay, for the next material, I take it from group T. Okay, the title is type of task, strength and weakness of tests. So I think we gotta being English teacher or probably any teachers in the future. So we need to know what is the type of test and then the weakness of the test. So the first one is type and kind of test. The first one is based on the form of the test. There's three types of tests based on the form. The first one is written test, and then oral test, and then performance test. Written test, it's something like like essay. Like we always asked to complete the essay task, and it can be also like a written journal or written article, written journal article, written what is that, makalah, and then any other thing. So it's also one of the example of written test. So the next one, oral test. Oral test is something like a multiple choice. Like in one question there's a lot of, not a lot actually, 4 or probably 3 answer. Then you gotta choose what is the best answer, what is your answer. So between A, B, C, D. So it's actually one of the example of oral test. And then the next one is performance test. Performance test is related to material that I explained before. It's something like authentic assessment. We gotta show up, we gotta practice what we learn from school, like our ability, our knowledge, the material that we get, and then performance in front of the people, in front of the teachers. So it's something like, for example, speaking. So we need to speak, like speaking between teacher and between student. It's also one of the example of performance test. Okay, moves to the next material is from group 4. It's actually rules in constructing text item and test scoring. We are a state teacher, we cannot score our student results of doing assessment, of doing experiment. So the first one is test for constructing a test. There's a lot of tests to constructing test, but I'm gonna determine some of them. The first one is determine the purpose of the test. What is your purpose? Why you made that test? Why you score that test? Why you practice it in? Why you apply it in your class? The next one is determine the competence to be tested. There's a lot of competence how to test, probably English speaking. There's a lot of competence to make it. And then the second, and then the third one is determine the materials to be tested. Before you deliver your material to the student, you need to determine your material before. And the fourth is determine distribution of item based on materials, competence, and also the form of assessment. It can be written test, it can be multiple choice, it can be description, it can be practical test. So you are, as a teacher, you can determine, you can decide which one is test that do you want to apply in your class. And then the next one, arrange the grid. Of course we need to arrange the grid. So the step by step will be correct. And then the 6th is write the items. We need to write. It can be write or it can be print. And then the next one is validate the item or extermine qualitatively. And then the next one is assembling the question into task kits. And then the second one is the complete the scoring grid lines. As a teacher needs to explain score grid line to your students, so they know that how to get best score, which way is best to get the best score. And then the next one is test item question. Anything related to material need question to know our students' capability, our student understanding of material. And then the next one, quantitative analysis of the item and the empirical data from the test result. And then the last one, refer up question based on the result of analysis. Repair means that you don't need to, the student don't need to repair the result, but you are as teacher need to repair the question, because the result of analysis should be balanced, should be correct, should be right. The last material I take it from group 5. It's Bloom's taxonomy, grid of test, and also producers in constructing a test. So what is grid of test actually? The function of grid test. I'm gonna explain what is the function of grid test. The first one, guide or guidelines in writing question to become compliant. Okay, guidelines for writing purposes are the most important because before we was that write something new, right? Like let's say article or journal, we need to do guideline first. Like the guideline here is mean that it can be like step by step how to construct a written task or something like. The guideline will become a reference for a teacher, for us as a teachers in the future in writing questions, so that they will make it easier to complete. Okay, and then the question writer will be produced questions that are in accordance with the purposes of the test. It means that the test is a teacher's evaluation materials for are accredited with the accredited for students the learning delivered. So the teacher will produce questions that they are in accordance with the objects of the test. So, and then the next one, different question writer will be produced relatively the same set of the question in the term of the level div and in the term of the scope of the material being asked. And then the next one, a good greeting must meet and the following requirements. So before you greeting, you must know what is the step by step what is step by step to score something. Okay, good greeting must meet the following requirement. The first one, there's a tree. Okay, tree. The greeting must be able to represent the content of the syllabus, curriculum, material that has been taught appropriately and proportionally. The second one, the components are clearly described and easy to understand. And the last one, the material to be asked can be made of a question. Jadi materials that you made for your student, it can be taken from the question. Okay, it can be made of from the question. So I think that's all about materials, 5 materials that I delivered, that I made in this video. I'm gonna say sorry, apologize, pardon me if I make some mistake, and thank you. Bye bye.